With the departure of Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green to the Toronto Raptors, the arrival of DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl, coupled with other offseason moves, appears to signal a Spurs shift from defense to offense. And San Antonio faces triple-digit highs through early next week. I'm Chance Storlin with your Express Briefing for Thursday, July 19th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. Spurs coach Greg Popovich met with reporters Wednesday to discuss the team's headline trade of Kawhi Leonard to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for All-Star DeMar DeRozan.
With DeMar coming to San Antonio, I couldn't be happier. I think this trade is going to be good for both teams. DeMar is obviously, a four-time All-Star and an All-NBA player. He's been great in the community there, a team player, somebody that I've respected and watched play for a while now, and we're thrilled to have him here. Jakob is a young talent that I think has a great opportunity to develop into a very good NBA player. So we're very anxious to get them involved in the program and let them know, how we do things and have them become important parts of the program.
Here's San Antonio Express News Spurs beat reporter Jabari Young and sports columnist Mike Finger.
Rumors, ups and downs, and all of that stuff is over here at AT&T Center alongside with Mike Finger. Mike, I'm actually relieved that it's over. I can get some rest. Happened around in the wee hours of the morning that we first heard the first inklings of the deal. But right off the bat, your initial reflection or your initial impressions of this deal, what the Spurs got and obviously what they're giving up.
Well, like you said, it went on a long time, and there is relief, I think, for a lot of people that this is finally behind everyone. It was something that was obviously going to have to be addressed before training camp, really. It was going to be awkward and just untenable if Kawhi Leonard started training camp demanding a trade, which he did. So the Spurs were in a situation where, whether it was true or not, there was a perception that these teams were trading for a rental. And I think Toronto realized that when they made this trade, that there's no guarantee they're going to be able to keep Kawhi Leonard longer than a year. And I think that affected the offers from Boston to LA all across the NBA. And this wasn't the dream return for the Spurs if you're thinking about getting a young future building block a la Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Markelle Fultz, Brandon Ingram down the line. There's not a player like that in this deal. It's a different kind of deal than we thought when we started this all Kawhi speculation. Yeah. This is a guy in DeMar DeRozan who's already an established star. The upside isn't necessarily there, but he's established, and he's kind of a win-now guy for the Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely. And this deal tells you that the Spurs had no desire right now to start any rebuilding process, at least while Greg Popovich is walking that sideline. You like the deal in the case that, hey, in DeMar DeRozan, you get a 5-time All-Star, okay? A guy who is one of the best, if not the best, mid-range player, mid-range shooter. He can score anywhere in the mid-range as well as attack the basket anywhere he wants. It's going to be fun to see how Greg Popovich incorporates that into this system of offense, which is kind of like an inside-out type of offense where motion is involved. So it'll be fun to see how that's incorporated. But listen, the more I think about it, the more I say this could be a win-win for the Toronto Raptors. One, you can convince maybe Kawhi to stay, and at the end of the day, if he doesn't, then you can start the rebuild, right? And if you can't start the rebuild with him in the fold, or if you don't want to rebuild and he does resign, and you get a superstar player of his caliber that's going to remain for a long time. So it's a win-win for them. For the Spurs, there's already an initial impression that, hey, DeMar doesn't want to be around, that, he's like, hey, listen, I'm not happy about it. I think that'll rub off. I think Rudy Gay will be using because they're very close, they're very tight, Rudy and DeMar. But you like it for both teams, and that this deal makes sense. At the end of the day, I asked, though, does this make the Spurs put them back into contention of possibly winning the NBA championship?
It's interesting. From Toronto's perspective, in a way, it's a salary dump because DeMar was signed for 3 more years, and there's an option in there at one point, but I mean, this is a situation where the Spurs have to look at it as a win now type of thing because they didn't get the future building blocks. They do have a possible draft pick, maybe a couple of second-round picks in this, but this is about continuing the window. And are they up there with Golden State and Houston? Probably not, but this is a situation where a team won 47 games last year in the Western Conference without its best player. And now instead of that hole where the best player was, you are adding a 5-time All-Star. So theoretically, this trade makes the Spurs better now than they were last year. Is that they're kind of stuck in that middle area where they're not quite Golden State, but they're not a lottery team either. So it's a brave new world for the Spurs, and I'm not sure what to make of it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still a lot to process, but at the same time, you think you hit it right on the money. They are a better team, and we say they're a better team than they were last year without Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, we think they're a better team with Kawhi Leonard in the 40. He's healthy, but without him, now you get a guy who's scoring, and let's not forget, you get a guy in Rudy Gay who's coming back off of that injury. It's a year now, so you expect him to be better. So maybe they will have some more firepower. But so much to discuss, so much more to look forward to.
Find more details on Wednesday's trade and what it means for San Antonio at expressnews.com/Spurs. And San Antonio is bracing for scorching heat with triple-digit highs forecasted to grip the area at least through Tuesday, with the National Weather Service projecting the thermometer soaring up to 102 to 104 degrees daily for the next 6 days. However, the heat wave won't break the city's all-time record when San Antonio hit 111 degrees on September 5th, 2000. While no heat-related deaths have occurred so far this year in Bexar County, between mid-March and late June, emergency medical crews responded to 120 patients suffering from heat exhaustion, with nearly half of those incidents occurring during June alone. And that's your daily San Antonio Express News briefing for Thursday, July 19th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. I'm Chance Dorland.